This is reading Neil Gaiman Library, Part 2. October in the chair. October was in the chair. Evening candles were red and orange and tumbled from the trees that circled the grove. The 12 of them sat around a campfire roasting huge jisung sticks, which spat and crackled as the fat dripped onto the burning applewood, and drinking fresh apple cider, tart and tangy, in their mouths. April. Bashrew and sacred dew on it. Oh, here we go. March. Thanks. The cursed bag of innards pawned me. I have a blister tomorrow, September. You are such a book, Hundrek, and such language. May. Lay off her, she's sensitive. Oh, please, spare me. Okay. Who wants to begin? What about the minutes? We always do the minutes when I'm in chair. January. But you aren't in the chair now, are you, dear? What about the minutes? You can't ignore them. Let the little buggers take care of themselves, huh? And I think September should go first. The lighthead. February. Hey. I didn't hear the chairman ratify that. Nobody starts till October. Says who starts and then nobody else talks. Can we have maybe the tiniest semblance of order here? It's fine, September can go first. Let's just get it rolling. Laurent Delisle was the finest chef in our settle. At least Laurent Delisle thought so. And the 3 Michelin stars on his door confirmed him in his opinion. He was a remarkable chef, it is true. His Miss Lamb Blanche had won several awards. His smoked quail and wild truffle ravioli had been described in the gastronome as the 10th wonder of the world. But it was his wine cellar that was the source of his pride and his passion. I understand that the last of white grapes are harvested in May. I appreciate fine wines, the aroma, the taste. The treasure, the jewel, the rarest of the rare, the ne plus ultra of his temperature. Control wine cellar was a bottle of 1902 Chateau Lafite. Excuse me? Yes, August. It is the one where some rich dude buys the wine to go to the dinner and the chef decides that the dinner the rich dude ordered isn't good enough for the wine, so he sends out a different dinner. And the guy takes one mouthful and he's got like some rare allergy and he just died like that. and the wine never gets drunk after all. Because if it is, you told it before. Years ago. Damn story then. Damn story now. Obviously, patties and culture are not to everyone's taste. Some people prefer the barbecues and beer, and some of us like. Well, I hate to say this, but he does have a point. It has to be a new story. I'm done. June, I have one. It's about a guard on the X-ray machine at LaGuardia Airport. She could drill out about people from the outlines of their luggage. And one day she saw a luggage X-ray so beautiful that she fell in love with the person. She couldn't figure out which person in line it was, and she pinned for months and months. And when the person came through again, she knew it this time, and he was a wizened old Indian man, and she was like 25, and she knew it would never work out, and she let him go. And because she could also see from the shapes of his bags on the screen that he was going to die soon. Fair enough, young June. Tell that one. I just did. Oh, so you did. Shall we proceed to my story then? Out of order, there, big fella. The man in the chair only tells his story when the rest of us are true. Let me tell his story if you want to. God knows it can't be worse than the one about the wine. All in favor? You're taking this to a form of vote? I cannot believe this. 7 A's, 4 nays. I cannot believe this is happening. July. I don't have anything personal. It's purely procedural. We shouldn't be setting precedences. It's settled then. Is there anything anyone would like to say before I begin? Yes. Sometimes I think somebody's watching us from the woods, and then I look up and there isn't anybody there. But I still think it. That's because you're crazy? That's how April. She's sensitive, but she's still the cruelest. Enough. October stretched his chair. He cracked a cabinet with his teeth, pulled out the kernel, and threw the fragments of shell into the fire. With a hissing spot and popped, he began. There was a boy. There was a boy who was miserable at home. I thought they did not beat him. He did not feel well, not his family, his town, not even his life. He had 2 brothers who were twins, older than he was, and who hurt him or ignored him and were popular. They played football, some games. One twin would score more and be the hero, and some games the other would. The little brother did not play football, they had a name for him. They call him the Runt. They had caught him around since he was a baby, and at first the mother and father had chided them for it. But he is the errand of the litter. Look at him, look at us. The boys were 6 when they said this. The parents thought it was cute. So pretty soon the only person who called him Donald was his grandmother, when she telephoned him on his birthday. No, perhaps because names have power, he was around, skinny and small nervous. He had been born with a runny nose, and it had not stopped running in a decade. At meal times, if it was like the food, they would still if they would control the food on his plate, and he'd find himself in trouble for leaving good food uneaten. The father never misses a football game, and would buy an ice cream afterwards for the twin who had scored the most, and the consolation ice cream for the other twin who hadn't. The mother described herself as a newspaper woman. Although she mostly sold subscriptions, she had gone back to work full-time once the twins were capable of taking care of themselves. The other kids in the boys' class called him Donald until word trickled down that his brothers called him Round. His teachers rarely called him anything at all. I thought they could sometimes be heard to say, "It's a pity it doesn't have black or the imagination or life of his brothers." When he first decided to run away, but the time he admitted to himself was living. He had a large Tupperware container hidden beneath a plastic sheet behind the garage. It contained 2 Milky Ways, a bag of nuts, a small bag of licorice, a flashlight, several comics, an opened bag of beef jerky, and $37, most of it in quarters. He did not like the taste of beef jerky, but he had read that explorers had survived for weeks on nothing else. It was when he put the packet of beef jerky into the Tupperware box and pressed the lid down with a pop that he knew he was going to have to run away. He had read books, newspapers and magazines. He knew that if you ran away you sometimes met bad people. But he had also read fairy tales, so he knew that there were kind people out there, side by side with the monsters. Through September, he put off leaving. It took a really bad Friday, during the course of which both of his brothers and him, the one who sat on his face, broke wind. He decided that whatever monsters were waiting out in the world would be even preferable. Saturday, his brothers were meant to be looking after him. but soon they went into town to see a